Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Madness at the Darkmoon Faire is now around 1 month old, and I last looked at the metagame a couple of weeks ago. So what has happened since? We're still waiting for the first balance patch to the game, and what is the current meta? And I have to say that the meta is largely the same, although there have been a couple of interesting developments. So there are a couple of new decks that you can play if you're looking to play the absolute top decks. In this video, I'm going to take a look at the top 8 decks in the current metagame. These are basically the 8 decks that are really worth playing if you are serious about climbing. The performance of all the others is a little bit lower. And coming in at number 8 is Evolved Shaman. Shaman came back to the game with Madness at the Darkmoon Faire. It was not really a contender in Skullman's Academy, and Evolved Shaman has proven to be by far the best Shaman archetype. It is the Shaman archetype that has withstood the test of time. It is still a capable deck. Evolved Shaman's problem is that its strong matchups like Priest and Mage are not really part of the meta. It's able to go toe-to-toe against most of these top decks in this list, but it's weak against Aggro Demon Hunter and it's weak against Hunter. And not having a great matchup against any of the top decks, having a bunch of okay matchups and then 2 weak matchups means that it's the number 8 choice at the moment. Coming in at number 7 is ETC Warrior. Warriors continues to have multiple viable archetypes. You can play Enrage Warrior as well, you can also play Bomb Warrior, you could play Silas OTK Warrior. There are a bunch of warrior decks that are playable, but according to statistics, ETC Warrior is still the one that is performing the best. And this seems to be the best ETC Warrior list at the moment. Cutting down to 1 Brawl, cutting down to 1 Blade Storm. People have also tried to cut those all together, but that failed rather miserably. So you still need some of those tools, even though you have that Skipper Armorsmith combo that you can use to just clear some boards and create tons of armor. And this version is also running Rattlecore. As is customary nowadays, your win conditions are either the ETC combo or the Rattlecore, or maybe a combination of both. And this deck is also running 1 copy of Silas Darkmoon, so you have some of that stealing capability or handing out stuff to your opponent capability, whichever way you want to spell that out. ETC Warrior is a little bit better now than it was a couple of weeks ago. It's still weak against Highlander Hunter, but there are some rogues in the meta now, and ETC Warrior is good against rogue, so when a matchup that is good for this has risen up to be more popular, ETC Warrior says thank you. Coming in at number 6 is Pure Paladin, and this Pure Paladin list is the exact same list that I showcased 2 weeks ago. Kind of a thing with this sort of deck that only can use class cards. It sort of builds itself, it doesn't really build itself, but you know what I mean. The ability to tweak the deck is limited, and this is still the best performing Pure Paladin build. It's still good against warriors, it's still good against Soul Demon Hunters, but it has some weaknesses, and the upcoming rogue decks are posing a bit of a problem for Paladin. And another problem is that what I speculated last time, that Broom Paladin or Broom Paladin has potential for improvement, and now it looks like that potential has been realized, and Broom Paladin has turned out to be the slightly better Paladin archetype again. And slightly better is exactly what it is. Broom Paladin, this is the type of Broom Paladin people are playing nowadays. It's doing pretty well, but it has the same strengths and weaknesses in general as Pure Paladin does. Good against Soul Demon Hunters, good against warriors, weak against Aggro Demon Hunters, weak against Secret Rogues. The upside of Broom Paladin is that Broom Paladin is favored in the mirror, so then when you have 2 decks that are very close to each other and one is better in the mirror, well, that is the preferred deck to play then. Highlander Hunter's refinement took place very early in Madness at the Darkmoon Faire, and this is exactly the same list as was used 2 weeks ago. And Highlander Hunter is still a good deck. It's still good against Shamans, it's still good against warriors, but Highlander Hunter has one weakness that was not as prevalent 2 weeks ago, and that is rogue. It doesn't seem to be doing very well against this Secret Rogue that is being played right now, and that means that Highlander Hunter has slipped a little bit down from that number 1 position down to number 4. And a newcomer on the list, the first rogue deck to make the list during Madness at the Darkmoon Faire, this is Secret Rogue. Well, why is it Secret Rogue? If you have been following Hearthstone news, all the hype is about Whirlkick Master, and they are calling the rogue Whirlkick Rogue. Whirlkick Master is an epic card that has never seen play before. You can combine that with combo cards to get some random resources. But it doesn't look like Whirlkick Master is the card that really makes the deck tick. In fact, Whirlkick Master is consistently the weakest performing card in all of the decks that include it. And having the same idea, just improving the Secret Rogue, putting in even more of these zero-cost things, Shadow Step prep, and using Price Blunderer to take out big opponents' threats when you can just play tons of cards in a turn. Turns out that that seems to be more effective than using Whirlkick Master for random resource generation. So instead of the Whirlkick Rogue, which involves crafting 2 expensive epic cards that have never seen play before and have been in the game for a while, you should probably look into this sort of deck and just use the Plunderer instead. If you have launched Hearthstone over the past couple of weeks, you may have run into some Demon Hunters. Demon Hunters are up to 40% of the meta. Yeah, and the majority of those are Aggro Demon Hunters. Aggro Demon Hunter, it is still the exact same list that this was 2 weeks ago. There have been no real improvements to the deck. It's still a really good deck. Weaknesses against Warriors, weaknesses against Soul Demon Hunters, but it's strong against Paladins, Shamans, Hunters. It's a fairly cheap deck, it's a very powerful deck. That's all it takes to be popular in Hearthstone. However, I would still rate its slower sibling, the Soul Demon Hunter, as the better deck, and Soul Demon Hunter is currently the #1 deck in the game. It used to be Highlander Hunter, but then Rogue came up, and Rogue is pretty good against Highlander Hunter, so Highlander Hunter's overall matchups have weakened a little, whereas Soul Demon Hunter is really good against Rogue. So that means that Soul Demon Hunter just improved even further, and it's just a great choice for lettering right now. Overall then, over the past couple of weeks, there have not been that many changes in the meta in Madness at the Darkmoon Faire. The rise of Rogue has affected the positions of the decks a little bit. The rise of Broom Paladin pushed Pure Paladin down a little, but Broom Paladin and Pure Paladin mostly share the same matchup spread against other decks, so it doesn't really affect the meta overall that much, and that was something that was already predicted that could happen. So it's mostly Rogue that is new. Everything else has been quite the same for the past weeks now. Hopefully we're going to get some balance changes soon to shake up the meta a little, but in the meanwhile, these are the best decks to play if you want to climb.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.